Welcome back to Watch More Football. Another week of Premier League games, and we will apologise for the fact that we didn't do a video last week. So this is kind of 2 weeks on from when we last did one. So we did miss last week's fixtures, and due to just some life stuff. These things happen. You are, as always, watching us on the Genreverse Sports YouTube channel. Please check that out. You'll find all of that on there, going right back to when we started this show. All focused on the lovely game of soccer or football, if you've got any brains. And you can also, while you're on there, check out our main genre channel, which get completely different content. No sports at all. In fact, it's mostly to do with entertainment. You've got reviews and loads of reactions. And you'll find similar content to that as well on lrmonline.com on a written format. My name's Cam Clark. I'm one of the senior editors over at lrmonline.com. We've also got producer Kyle here, is also one of my fellow senior editors at the website, and he also looks after our main Genreverse YouTube channel. And as always, I've got Dave, Ryan, and Mick, who are into football and like talking about it. So, rattle right into what we've got on for us this week. We'll start off, as always, with our predictions and update where we are in the tables and how well we did this week. So, passing on to our resident predictions expert, Ryan.
Predictions expert who is bottom of the table, but maybe
Will it up now?
You have a foundation.
Great week.
Yeah,
I was trying to start over.
Yeah. So I mean, we've got 2 weeks to catch up on. The table's changed quite a bit. However, Dave is still top, but he is only level on points with Mick and Cam. Kyle is continuing his free fall down the table, and I finally just about caught up with him. I would say I've made the decision to keep myself bottom of the table because it was less work for me in updating it. But other than that, morally, I'm ahead of Kyle, so fuck you.
I see.
Right, there's not.
I've had a good couple. I've had a good couple of weeks. Dave has been very consistent. I've had to change his weekly score for the last 3 weeks, I don't think. So cheers for that, Dave.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. As long as Chelsea keep winning, you guys are in for a chance, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You'll never predict that Chelsea win, and they do keep winning at the moment.
I am particularly aggrieved that Arsenal's that City's last minute equaliser, not only sort of was good for Man City, but it also robbed me of another 3-pointer as well. Otherwise, I would have been flying off into the distance.
Ryan, you've got your mascot back.
You got
You got somebody, whale peeking over his shoulder.
Anyway, but, I mean, in terms of what we actually predicted for game week 5, if you want to bring that up, Kyle, there was, I think it was quite a varied week in what we all predicted. But we do have a shock of the week in that nobody predicted that Fulham would be beating Newcastle, and they did 3-1. So that is our shock of the week, and that is our chance to talk about Newcastle, Mick.
No thanks. Nah. Started the first couple of minutes, I thought, we're going to be in for a good game. We're going to win this, I think. And it just...
it was pretty entertaining, I thought.
Yeah, you would, wouldn't you? The first half was terrible. It was one of the worst halves I've seen this season from us.
Yeah.
Fulham,
I know we haven't played well, but
Fulham deserved to be 2-0 up at the break. But then we started the second half. First 40 seconds were scored. And I thought, right, well, we'll see how this goes. But we're the better team in the second half. We had chances to go to 2-2.
Yeah.
Fabian Shea with the miss of the season, pretty much. Absolutely. I don't know what the hell he was thinking about being up there for a goal kick.
I was confused. I thought the commentator got his name wrong.
Yeah. All you had to do was a simple pass across to Isaac. I hit the target, and it's 2-2. But
how often do players do that, though, in that position?
I mean, it's like you said, if the ball had fallen to him about 20 yards out, it would have been top bins. And
he only scored screamers.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
too easy for him.
He was too close.
Then Bruno decided enough was enough.
Too close to goal.
Bruno decided enough was enough in the 93rd minute and passed it straight to them to score the third.
Yeah, Bruno's getting a lot of stick. Bruno's getting a lot of stick for that, but
no stick off me.
Yeah, nobody was giving him anything at all. He had no one to actually pass to. He didn't want to lump it because nobody does it anymore. But yeah, it was poor. It was good pressing.
He didn't want to lump it because we didn't have. I'm saying we didn't really have anyone up there. We played with 2 strikers at that time. But
none of them are going to win a lump at field, are they? And
you would think that young lad, Asula, he looks a big strapping lad. You would think that he could have, but
he was all right. He was quite physical when he came on, but he didn't get much time. He really couldn't do it, and it was really just a kind of last desperate throw of the dice. But I think if Bruno doesn't make, which for me an unforced error, then we'll lose the game 2-1 anyway. You know what I mean? I don't think we were scoring. I think I said it during the game. I just felt like this was a game we were not going to score in. We had the chances, we missed them. It wasn't going to happen. We threw it away in the first half by being absolutely pish.
Yeah. I mean, you said it was an unforced error. He had 2 players closing him down. He had no one to pass to. And the centre-back that he could have passed to had a man marking him. He didn't really have a lot more options.
Of all the options that he's got, there's 2 specifically really bad ones. You know, of the thousands of options that he could pick. One is shoot it into his own goal. 2 is pass it directly onto the penalty spot for somebody else to shoot it into his own goal. He did actually pick one of the 2 of the thousands of options he could have that was on the negative there. So I'll disagree with you.
Yeah, but I don't think it was an unforced error. It was forced because he was closed down. He had to make that decision. Yes, he chose the wrong one, but it was a forced one, not unforced.
Yeah, it was good pressing from Fulham, I thought, to put him in that position.
Fulham deserved the win, and it was only a matter of time with our performances this season so far. It's only a matter of time before that L was coming.
Yeah.
But what's weird though is if you'd won that, you'd be top of the table now, even though you guys have been saying you've been crap all season.
I know.
We have been saying it's been great. It's been one of those things. It'll be great when we start playing well because we've been winning games and getting points without playing well, and you sometimes assigning a good team. But then that's only if you do improve your form. Then you go in and you have a half like we did against Fulham in that first half. And there'll be any Premier League team will beat you if you play that bad. I mean, Pope lets a goal in just because he must have been feeling generous. I don't know what the hell was happening there. The first goal itself was terrible defending. It's a ball into a guy who takes it in his chest, gets all the time in the world to just turn around, pivot, and strike it into without any obstacle whatsoever. You know, that's just who's marking him, who's blocking the shot. It was
supposed to be Fabian Shea.
The defending was terrible.
What I would say is I know it was against Newcastle, but it's good to see Raul Jimenez scoring goals like that again because he really wasn't himself after he came back from his head injury.
Yeah.
So it's good to see him playing well.
And he scored a couple this season.
It's worrying that Adama Traore's finally found a bit of end product this season as well. Because
I forget that those 2 players are still around and at Fulham.
Yeah. Because he's an absolute monster, and now he can actually get the ball into the box in a good position. He might become unplayable. He's still got muscle off the ball.
You say that a bit
in the first week.
Then he'll have a few games where he just does absolutely nothing. And moans.
He's fun to watch. Though.
Occasionally does turn it on.
Joe Linton just bounced off him.
Which is saying something because Joel Linton normally does the bouncing, doesn't he? But,
Did Joe try using any arms in the movement? Because I feel it's more this area that Joe's strongest. And whereas
in the size of Traore's arms,
it's more the
it's called a clothesline cam. It's a wrestling move.
Yeah. Anyway, actually, Joe is playing shit after getting like man of the match in the first game of the season and making our week. He has been absolutely shit every game since, and probably deserves to get dropped. In all honesty,
the only two players that I could pick out of our teams, Bruno and Barnes. That tried.
Even then, I think Bruno's trying, but he's not. And I always say Bruno takes a few. He needs to be playing a few games to get into it, but he's not been that good. Barnes,
Bruno got a nice
talking about
assist
Saturday.
on Saturday, so
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's, I'm not going to fuss too much about the thing at the end. I don't think that's really representative, and I'm not really ever a go at him for that. I just don't think he's been that good. But you could really level that at everybody. I think Dan Burns been good for us at the back. I think Barnes has been good when he's come on. And that's about it. Isaac's been poor. Jolinton's been poor. I think Bruno's
The
not
only
been
reason
quite on it. Gordon's
Isaac's being poor is because he's got nothing going to him.
That is a possibility, though, Mick. That is, to be fair. It might just be the way that we're playing, and he's getting so little to work with. He just can't do anything. So I'll give you that.
Do you think this is going to be the catalyst for Tonali to start games
yes.
now?
It's got to be.
Because obviously you were getting wins, you want to ease him back in, but now it happens with United quite often where you get a new player back and you just wait for the bad moment to bring him in to just boost everyone a bit.
He's got to play on Saturday against City because we need somebody in the middle of that park he's quick, he's creative. We need someone like that in the middle of the park on Saturday.
Yeah, well, against City, you might have a chance against their midfield now that Rodri's...
Yeah, no Rodri, no De Bruyne.
Well, they will be out.
There is that. That.
It's a good little audition for Bruno that on Saturday because they've got a...
You can show us City fans
what's his release course like in January.
Well, they need 150 million, especially in January.
Not if he keeps on setting up the other team.
Still needs 150 million.
Anyway, will we move on from Newcastle and how very disappointing it is, and hope that things turn around for our valiant black and white heroes in the future.
3 points on Saturday, man.
At least 2 of us. So that's a short result of the week. I don't know why, because Fulham beating Newcastle 2-1 ain't that crazy, but that's how this game works. Our moment of the week, though, is really just one game this week, because there were so many incidents come off this game, and it doesn't always happen when we get a top of the table clash, but it's Man City versus Arsenal. And, we literally had Man City players throwing toys out the Pram big style during the game and after the game. We had... and then we had Arsenal fans doing the same after the game about various different things. But at the game itself, it was a decent watch, but it was full incident. Guys, where should we start?
I mean, I just think, like you say, it's good to have a top of the table clash where just everything happens.
Yeah.
Really good goals, controversial red card, lots of niggle, lots of shithousing, lots of fighting, lots of dark arts, an absolute sort of. I've heard Arsenal's second half being described as Helm's Deep, and I love a bit of that as well. And
it's just nice after all those years of Liverpool versus City and just complimenting each other and slapping each other's bums, saying "Good game, chaps." I like a bit of fighting. It's like the old Man United Arsenal days. This is what it should be like.
Yeah.
Bit of empathy, yeah. Bit of empathy.
Yeah.
Not right, Erlen.
He was, I don't know. I mean, he scored an absolutely great goal, but he did kind of seem to lose it a little bit at various different points in the game. One of them we'll leave till the very end of the show because we're going to talk about our house of the week for that. But he also at the end of the game started shouting at people and what's that? Sorry?
I'm saying wasn't the tone set in the first 10 seconds when Rodri was wiped out?
Oh, yeah.
Who wiped him out? I can't remember who wiped him out, but he just wiped him out in the first 10 seconds.
That was even a foul.
Ran straight into him with the elbow and the chest.
That's not where you get injured. You get injured because he went down funny on his right
but in the
knee.
first, the tone was set in the first 10 seconds.
When
the ball kicked off.
I don't mean when he get injured. All right.
Yeah.
He just ran straight into him with his elbow into his chest kind of thing. Wiped him out. That was the tone set.
The two of them were trying to be more physical than the other one, ultimately. And it was a good game up until that sending off. And there's been a lot of drama about this sending off because it's a second yellow card. It was a yellow card, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
any of you anything controversial about that at all?
I didn't see it live. But I watched it back, and I'd heard a lot about it before I watched it back, and there was an argument that he didn't think he'd fouled whoever he elbowed, and he was trying to play a Martinelli, but he absolutely skies the ball. There's no way that's getting to Martinelli. It was an absolute And even then, even if he hadn't kicked it away, he could get a booking for elbowing the City player in the head anyway. I think
he just runs up and he leathers the ball out to play.
Yeah.
Not like you try to kick it out at the stadium.
So I think it's fair enough, and I think given that obviously Rice got sent off 2 games ago for something similar, was it Partey got booked against Spurs last week for it as well? Saliba. I get that they're trying to slow the game down and all that, but they need to be smarter with it, definitely. And if they keep getting pulled up for this, that is 100% on Arteta and the coaching team to stop, to not crack down on.
Then the actual yellow that he gets sent off for, just after this had all happened, it wasn't that long into it, was it?
But he got booked before.
He just runs and jumps in.
That was the first booking, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He runs and jumps in.
That was the second one.
Booking.
And he just ran and jumped in, and they were trying to claim that wasn't a yellow either, which I just don't understand.
So were both bookings in the same incident, were they, or were they?
No.
So he runs, jumps in, yellow card, and then the second one was where he ran over and elbowed the player in the head, and then he did out.
No,
that was the red.
It was the other way around a bit.
Yeah, it was the other way around. Yeah.
Was it?
He was sent off of a foul. Yeah.
I thought he was sent off.
No. He was definitely sent off.
He was kind of thing.
No, he was definitely sent off for booting ball.
That's why it's a talking point.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I watched the game live. I'm telling you what happened.
I watched it live.
That's not what happened. He ran and he jumped in. We're talking about Trossard sending off.
Yeah, Trossard. Yeah.
So that was his first yellow card. Then after that, the ball's in the air and he runs up and he barges in another player and pushes him over, and the referee gave him yellow card, second yellow, red card straight after that. And they were all standing about, and Trossard was standing about going,
why was it the talking point? Because it's Arsenal fans probably trying to justify it.
It was right. It's Arsenal fans. So at first they were moaning that was never a yellow card, but then everybody was against them. Everybody said it was a yellow card. So now they're back to the earlier incident and saying that wasn't a yellow card and that shouldn't have stood in the first place. The reason that they're doing that is because there was an incident later in the game, or at another point in the game, where I forget his name, Doku. I'm thinking Star Wars. Doku passes the ball and it looks as if he's kicking the ball. The Arsenal fans are all going off their head because that happened. But it was a completely different situation, which I could explain.
But Doku basically kicked the ball 5 yards back towards one of the Arsenal players, but it went past Rice, who was standing in the spot where
there was no one there that took it, and he looked at the referee as if, can I give him back? It was almost a look to the referee, and the referee gives him a nod and back towards where the Arsenal player is. It wasn't slowing up the play in any way at all. It wasn't the same.
Going back to the red card from Trossard, I watched it live, and obviously I seen on Sky Sports Twitter them saying the VAR actually turned around or the referees turned around when he's got the second yellow card for kicking the ball away.
Yeah, and that has been the narrative the entire post match is that
that's the second yellow card.
I think if the first yellow card had been booting the ball away and then he got the second yellow card for a foul, I don't think it would have been as big a story.
Nah. No way, yeah.
Because personally, to me, I don't want to see people being booked for that sort of thing. I just think it's really petty. It doesn't really ruin
just stop
the game.
kicking the ball away. We're doing it on purpose.
I know, but it's just daft. Who's complaining if Declan Rice doesn't get a second yellow, or if Trossard doesn't get a second yellow? Who's complaining if that doesn't happen? I don't think anyone is really.
Well,
ignoring the fact. No, okay. So say that rule wasn't wasn't in place, would anyone be saying, "Oh, they should be getting bookings for that," or we should start?
I think we used to.
Well, yeah, they did.
That used
Obviously,
to.
they used to be
Yeah.
saying there needs to be some sort of punishment for this because they're stopping quick free kicks. They're stopping the play moving forward.
I think
they're stopping quick play. They're
I think
slowing
it should be
everything down.
it should be fair enough because a quick free kick, you're looking to take advantage of the other team not being set.
But this
And then,
this is
so if you can be clever enough to stop that from happening, to let your team set, I think that's fair play. If we, I think
fair enough. Like a little toe poke away, like Declan Rice did. You've done that little toe poke away. Yeah, I would never have complained about that. But when you've got a Trossard running up and absolutely wellying it out the stadium, kind of thing, then
I just think it should
be
it should come down to who can be smarter in that situation. A bit like for Arsenal's first goal, where
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, where Walker gets called over by the ref to have a chat, and Arsenal take the free kick before Walker gets back, and obviously
the referee
set.
That's why they were kicking off. That's why City weren't happy because they didn't let Walker get back into his position after the referee had called Walker to him for a chat.
I just think that's
again. I'll disagree with that.
From both ends. I think that's smart game awareness.
After Walker stops talking to the ref, he starts getting into a conversation with an Arsenal player all the way back. And at this time, Martinelli the whole time is standing in line with him, going, "Give me the ball, give me the ball." And Walker has got his head down, talking to an Arsenal player or another Man City player, I can't remember what it is, way after he starts going back for the referee, and the referee's standing there looking at it and goes, "On you go."
Yeah,
it
takes his time getting back as well, and you should be able to be clever in that situation. Either side of the ball, you should be able to be clever in that situation, in my opinion.
I was just saying that's why Man City weren't happy about it.
Yeah.
The fact that,
and of course, that was the incident where we get Pep kicking the chair as well.
Yeah, I think so.
That was a good kick though, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It's great.
And also, I was surprised that Arsenal's second goal was allowed as well.
Well,
it's a blatant obstruction on the keeper.
The film 300, with Pep just kicking the guy, going, "This is."
I am surprised that Arsenal's second goal was allowed to stand. It's a blatant obstruction on the keeper. Two Arsenal players have blatantly stopped the keeper track going backwards to try and get to the ball.
Isn't the whole point? Is they just sort of stand their ground? They don't make a movement. They don't.
Well, no, because one of them does step into him, kind of thing. He steps in the way. It's an obstruction. I don't understand how that was allowed to be given, to be honest. If it was against Man U or against Newcastle or Chelsea, we would be saying the same thing. We'll be saying, "No, that's an obstruction on the keeper."
No, I'd be saying my keeper needs to batter him out of the way and claim the ball, to be honest.
But there's two big defenders going backwards.
I would.
Well, that's why you need your big defenders to push them out the road and protect your keeper. That's part of it.
It just becomes a massive brawl, though, doesn't it?
Don't get me wrong. If they've got their hands in the keeper and they're stopping the keeper jumping,
but
if they're just standing there against. Doing anything wrong.
You're saying get your defender to push them out of the way, but you're going to do that. You're going to give a penalty away.
No, you don't need to push them with their hands.
Okay.
You push them with your shoulders. You can use your weight into them as much as you want. So
what
Big
about
Dan
this?
Burn goes up to somebody and says, "Come on, then I'll lean my weight against yours." You know.
What about this? Corner comes. You know that Arsenal are going to crowd the keeper. So as soon as the ball goes out for a corner, your centre backs get stood in front of your keeper and stand their ground. Stop the Arsenal players getting there, and as it's being kicked, you sort of move out the way so the keeper's got room to.
I don't know.
Well, because you know it's going to be the late run to Gabriel. Put one of your defenders on Gabriel, and just make sure that player wins the ball runs where Gabriel runs, and make sure they beat them to the ball.
Yeah, but Gabriel's really good at losing his man in that situation.
And it was Kyle Walker.
No, that's not easy, but
you
know, they still didn't do it. There was no one on him.
And Kyle Walker, before the ball was played, he was standing there tapping Gabriel on the back, trying to put him off. Yeah. And Gabriel was just like, "No, see you later, mate."
Yeah.
But I still think that. I don't think so.
So do you think, man? Do you think that I don't know. I'm kind of confused at everybody's point of view here. So were Arsenal hard done by? Were
No.
Man City hard done by here? Or was nobody hard done by and it's all just a lot of nothing?
Nobody was hard done by, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, no, I don't think any of the decisions were incorrect. I don't think the yellow card for kicking the ball away should be a rule, but it is a rule, so fair enough. But yeah, I think it's interesting. A lot of people are saying it was sort of like a valiant effort and a moral victory from Arsenal because they managed to keep him out for so long. I think it's a really damaging result for Arsenal because the last 2 years when they've been challenging City, essentially the difference has been the games they've played against City. And they've shown from the first season to the next, they've shown that they can sort of contain City and nullify them and all that sort of thing. But if they're going to go and win the title, they need to give City a bloody nose, and they needed to hold out and win that game to really sort of put the cat amongst the pigeons. And I think it really sort of it sets Arsenal back a lot more than it sets City back. Obviously, City have lost Rodri for the season now.
What happens though? You know, I think that could have been a different game if the red card doesn't happen. They have to take their own blame for that. But I still think, you know, like people are criticising them for like sitting back and basically patting the bus.
I've got absolutely no issue with that.
10 men against City, you know, and you're winning.
I've said many times, I absolutely love that shit in certain situations. It was a really impressive effort up until the point that City actually started trying to stretch the game with Grealish, and as soon as he started going wide and started running at players, Arsenal were shaky a bit. And I think if City had changed that earlier rather than just passing it around the outside of the box, I think they probably would have won the game.
I don't know. I thought Arsenal had a result for both. Really impressive at the back.
Yeah.
But they just switched off in the last minute.
It's the first 2 goals they've conceded all season, which is impressive in itself. But they've proven that they can match City's record over the rest of the season. It is the games against City that count, and it might be the draw is good if they beat them at the Emirates. But you've got to say, at the moment, they had a real opportunity to really sort of rock City for the first time this season, and they weren't able to take it. And I think that works more for City than it does for Arsenal.
Yeah.
I think one just last thing. Yeah. See about it is I'm quite disappointed once again in the reaction of the Arsenal fans. I don't know why Man City players were going off their heads so much towards the end of the game, and they were idiots. But at least the Man City fans did the good grace to just talk about it normally. But Arsenal fans have been flooding Twitter, the internet, Reddit, everything with all their conspiracy theories again, and how the entire league set up specifically to help Man City, and that no one wants them to win it except them themselves, and just going on about every decision and how nothing ever gets given to them, and everybody's what? Sorry,
can I ask you a question? Are you surprised that Arsenal fans are going on like this?
Well, no, because they did it
how they went on
last
when
year
they
as
got
well,
beat by Newcastle fair and square at St James's Park last season.
I just don't understand why they're going off their head so much about this one. I think that's what I'm getting at. They done okay, it wasn't that much. It wasn't really that controversial, I don't think. But unless you say your opinions about the whole kicking the ball away and all that sort of stuff, like Ryan says, it shouldn't be in the game. But with the way it's been going, I just don't think there's any complaints.
One of their complaints was someone actually timed it from the whistle to Trossard kicking the ball away. And they said 1.08 seconds. But yet, a Liverpool player kicked the ball away at 1.11 seconds and he never got booked. Going on about something completely different.
Yeah, but it's not about the timing. It very clearly just blasted it away. Which is it's silly from Trossard, because actually where the ball was, there was no free kick going to be taken there anyway. There was no City player anywhere near it, I don't think. And
there was a City player running in, but the ball was like was like knee high or something. It wasn't going to get a quickly free kick because it was about 10 yards away from where the foul was.
It wasn't stationary either.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So there was no quick free kick to be had.
Yeah. So it's stupid from Trossard, and fine. There's a lot to think about in the game, and it was a tense atmosphere. But you've just got to be cleverer than that, haven't you?
Yeah,
I think so. And I think the other thing is, Arsenal fans, stop being dicks. You know, I know you're getting all tight because you're in a big title fight, and it's like they're like, what?
The idea
it's all angsty, but just chill it.
The idea,
Kyle.
The idea that the Premier League actively want only one team to ever win their league is just ridiculous, because it just damages and cheapens the product, and you know, the best thing for it would be an Arsenal win at this point, same as it was a few seasons ago, same as it was with Leicester.
Wasn't an unfancied team, or they've never won it before. You know,
No.
Arsenal was one of the big teams in the Premier League.
Yeah,
one
of the Premier League bigwigs.
They haven't won it for 20 years, so it would still be a story, same as it was with Liverpool.
Yeah, like with Liverpool. And they've always been known as the top 4 team as well. But, you know.
Yeah, but one of the bigwigs said they don't want another Leicester. So.
What, Premier League bigwigs or club bigwigs? Because I know...
No, one of the Premier League bigwigs. No, not one of the clubs. It was one of the.
Because I know I read a story after Leicester won the league. I know Man United had an inquest about how that could be allowed to happen, like an internal inquest of, we've spent £300 million this summer. How the fuck have this championship won the league?
So it was one of the board members said that they don't want another Leicester City.
Well, that's nonsense.
But everybody else does.
He's a horrendous businessman.
Yeah.
Fucking
yeah, exactly.
Dick Masters.
That was famous.
Yeah,
you know, it makes the league better to have these things every now and again. But anyway, shall we move on to Ryan? Talk us through our team of the week this week that we've picked from our selection of players.
So we have everybody in the position that they played in the game, which I think is a positive.
That's an achievement for a team of the week.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. Yeah. So we start with Dean Henderson in goal for Crystal Palace. Mainly for his first half, United created quite a few chances. He pulled off some good saves, and it's typical. You know, he's an ex-keeper of ours. He came through our academy. He was a bit chippy when he left, so obviously he's going to have the game of his life against us.
He's been all right this season.
Yeah, he's a good keeper. He wasn't good enough. He got a chance to be United's number 1, and he wasn't good enough at the time.
No.
And I don't think he's accepted that, but he is a good keeper. Right back, we've got Trent Alexander-Arnold for Liverpool.
Oh God,
who has just had a fantastic season. He's had all of his creativity, but he's still been a functional right back at the same time, which I think is impressive.
Yeah.
And his pass to Luis Diaz's goal was just ridiculous, I thought.
Sublime on it, yeah.
Can you imagine if he had played in the
Euros? Was there better, like.
At right back, yeah.
Yeah, at right back.
Did I see Konate's assist for Liverpool?
I didn't know, because he's not in the team of the week, so...
No. It was better than Trent.
Centre back, we've got Tosin from Chelsea, who was just solid.
Yeah, I really liked him.
Was he involved in the penalty shout, or was he?
Was it Tosin or was it Fana?
I can't
wasn't sure
remember.
If it was for Fana.
Yeah. But you know, Chelsea had quite a comfortable afternoon. At the London Stadium. So.
Whenever West Ham tried to put it in the box, Tosin was always there. It's not just his defending, but his ball playing is absolutely fantastic as well.
Yeah.
Really liking him.
The other centre back, we've got Gabriel in there although they let in 2 goals, obviously it was a mammoth defensive effort from Arsenal in the second half, and obviously you got the goal that put them ahead at the time. He's fast becoming the best centre back in the league, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah.
And then left back, we've got Diogo Dalot, who has had a really good season at left back, in my opinion. He's been inverting. He's been solid defensively. He created quite a few chances against Palace as well on Saturday, I thought. And it's high time that he gets some recognition, I think. And we didn't have a left back otherwise.
That's what I was going to say. It was an 0-0 draw.
He's been good this season. He was one of our more dangerous players on Saturday, I thought.
Yeah, no one else could put him.
moving on to midfield, we've got James Maddison for Spurs, who was sort of at the heart of everything they were doing. He was creative, but I thought he was also winning the ball back quite a bit against Brentford as well. Being more of that 8 rather than the 10 that he was when he first started.
Yeah.
Is this the return of Maddison, is it? Does anybody think?
To England?
No,
if you let him play, if you let him play, he'll play well. If you don't let him play and annoy him, he'll have a bad game.
Yeah.
And he's super, I don't know, he's got some ego on him. And sometimes that can be really good for a player. But you hear him talk him after the game, he's like, I think I've been playing brilliant all season and that. You're like,
yeah.
No,
I mean,
mate, and you've been
I think he's been pretty mediocre for the year.
But he did play well the weekend.
Alongside him in midfield is Moises Caicedo, who's just becoming a bit of a wall in midfield there, and he can play a good ball to Nicholas Jackson to run onto as well.
People don't understand how good Caicedo is at passing. He is. Yeah. It's one of his strengths, honestly.
He's definitely looking like the player he was at Brighton now. He didn't have a great season.
Well, I think he's been proven. I think he's been proven that for a long time, to be honest. But Chelsea are being a bit disorganised all over the place. So I think you some people just don't watch your games and just put the blame on him. But I mean,
we'll talk about Chelsea in a minute, but I think a lot of the reputations at Chelsea, I think, are starting to be slightly disproved this season. The last couple of weeks. And then the other midfielder we've got is Emile Smith-Rowe, who ran things against Newcastle. Did he get a goal?
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. And actually, we didn't do a podcast last week, but we had everything prepared. He was in our team last week as well.
He was in last week as well, and he scored again last week.
I'm glad he's at a club where he's going to get game time. Yeah. I think he's quite an exciting player, to be honest.
He is a good player, yeah. And then moving on to the front three, so we've got Tyler Dibling for Southampton, who scored a really nice goal against Ipswich, and he's 18 years old. He was playing his second game, and he just looks electric. He gave United and Dallo an absolutely torrid time for the first half an hour last week. So he looks like a proper talent.
He won't be there long, will he?
No, but I mean, it's whether he becomes, because obviously he's 18, he's got a bit of pace, he's just fearless and running at players. Whether that gets beaten out of him over the course of the season, I don't know. But,
probably will if he stays at Southampton.
Yeah. We've got Luis Diaz on the other wing, who again has been in great goal scoring form. And then up top, because we don't want Erling Haaland in every week, we've got Nicholas Jackson, who just was unplayable.
Venice Haaland didn't do much this week.
Haaland only got one, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, obviously,
house of the week this week. So
I'm just gutted that we didn't record last week, because I had a whole rant about Erling Haaland making it into team of the week that is just useless now because time has passed and it's old news. But I'm glad that we
Trent instead.
I'm glad that we found reason to put somebody else up there. It's also and Jackson deserves it because he was.
He'll not be in next week neither.
He'd be too busy in Dan Burns' pocket, will he?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that worries me slightly. We don't have Lascelles this year. Usually it's Lascelles that puts him in his back pocket. Haaland's never scored against us, has he? Or he's scored very few against us, because usually Jamal Lascelles puts him in the back pocket. But we've got no.
Lascelles has been training Dan Burn all week.
I hope he's been giving him special Haaland training.
Yeah.
This is how you keep up your pockets, son.
This is how you stop the Terminator.
So, given we've got 3 Chelsea players in the team of the week, Dave, do you want to talk good about all things Chelsea for a change?
Yeah, it's the first time I've watched this in a long time where I haven't worried about us conceding. I couldn't really see that happening. I thought we were really strong at the back. It's weird that we've hired this manager, Enzo Maresca, to play like Pep, and we haven't really been playing like that this year. We've just been best at counter-attacking, which is definitely not how I think they're wanting to play, but it's where we're quite strong at the moment. That's not too bad. It means there's a solid foundation in the team, which you probably have to get sorted first. So I'm happy with that. I don't really know if I have much to say. Just really strong performance from the players at the back. Caicedo was just brilliant as always, and Palmer was quite quiet, to be honest, but even quiet, he gets a goal.
It was really well finished, wasn't it?
Yeah. You just know in situations like that, he's going to finish it. He's just that good. and Jackson was fantastic. And to be able to bring on the players we did, it just feels like a cheat code. Like I don't know if you're not weakening the side. It almost looks like you're strengthening it by bringing like Nkunku on and Neto.
Yeah.
It's just actually quite nice, to be honest. And it's great to beat West Ham.
I was going to say, like, you were very pessimistic getting into this season because of all the turmoil, more in the transfer window. But, you know, when you look at it, you've got a very solid squad. You've got positions, you know, every position filled. You know, you're playing well. You could do pretty well this year.
Yeah, it's still early days.
With the way your midfield's playing at the minute, as Enzo Fernandez hasn't been playing, has he?
He played the other day, and he was all right, actually. But when Lavia comes back, I don't know what's going to happen because a Lavia Caicedo midfield is really nice, to be honest. So I don't. But are we going to shove Enzo to the sidelines? He's cost over 100 million, so I don't know.
I mean, they made a big show of backing him in the summer as well, didn't they?
Captain, yeah, which I don't think a lot of fans agree with, but
no,
yeah.
After the summer.
Just to let you know, Dave, Chilwell's just come on.
Good old Chilwell. Yeah, I love him.
He'll be off in 5 minutes. Injured.
He will be off in 5 minutes. I don't think we can put Vega back on either.
Like a sniper rifle shot. I think you've got nothing else to say, Dave, unless somebody else is getting to say it.
I mean, I just think a lot of the noise about Chelsea is off the pitch, but I think Maresca's just sort of quietly got on with it and not really entertained any of it, hasn't he? And
he says what he thinks.
Well, I don't know if he was quiet during the transfer window when he was telling people that they were never going to play for him.
No, but what he was saying was the club wants to get rid of these lot. I'm not going to fight for them. I'm going to focus on the players that I have got, and they're playing well.
The fact is, they got rid of all of them except Chilwell, so he doesn't have to worry about it now. Yeah,
and exactly. he said Chilwell wasn't going to play, but look at him now, he's playing. So
he's got the captain's armband.
Oh, he's vice captain. He's vice captain, of course. The captain's Reece James. He's probably not going to play for the rest of the season. Who knows?
Imagine making your captain Reece James and then your vice captain Ben Chilwell. I mean, if you do that, you've got to think, right, who's the vice captain?
Anthony Martial.
Luke
Shaw.
I was thinking Nkunku.
Well, I don't know. It's leadership. I don't know if Nkunku spent most last year in the physio room, so he probably doesn't know half the players. And it's not a mature team. It's just there's no mature player in there to give who's an obvious choice for captain's armband.
You got Tosin now, who's got a bit of experience behind him.
Yeah, but he's new, so everybody's new in fairness.
I mean, we made Harry Maguire captain after 6 months, so
legend of the game.
And look how that turned out. But
anyway, we'll do a quick VAR watch, guys, because there's not too much to talk about this week. I don't think that we didn't already cover in the Arsenal-Man City game. There was a few controversial decisions there. The first on our VAR watch this week is Vicario basically handling it outside the box.
Basically,
anybody want to talk about this?
The ball was...
Is it even a red card because it was players in the way?
I don't know, because the ball was forward
and opportunity.
Vicario comes, run towards the edge of this box and jumps up to catch it. And then he realises he's going out the box, so fumbles it, but still starts trying to play basketball at the same time.
Yeah.
And starts patting the ball because he noticed it's going to drop to one of their players. He's going to have pretty much no goal. He pats the ball again away from him so he can kick it. And the referee just allows it to play on.
It's bad refereeing.
It's one of the worst cases I've seen.
I mean, we could all see it. You could see it from the behind shot. So if you can see it from the behind shot, the referee...
You can see it from the forward as well.
Well over.
You can see from every angle. It's a blatant touch with his hand.
But VAR can't get involved.
No. He did an incredible save at the end, didn't he, Vicario?
Yeah, he did, yeah. But the thing is, though...
I mean, he had another one in that game.
Got involved. If they looked and went, well, hang on a minute, you're going to have to wait because it might be a red card incident because the ball was going to drop to the Brentford player.
Yeah.
And Vicario is outside of the box.
Yeah, I mean the reason they couldn't get involved is because it wasn't denial of a goal scoring opportunity. But there's no way a keeper handballing the ball outside the box is not a goal scoring opportunity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't handball it, he's out of the game. Like
Yeah. Especially when that ball's going to drop to an opposition player, but yet he just uses his hand to push it away from him.
yeah.
That's technically.
I think I'd be raging if that happened to Newcastle and Pope gets.
I don't think it should be a red.
Raging.
I don't think it should be a red card, but
I think it's something VAR should be able to look at.
certainly they should be able to give a free kick and a booking for that. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the VAR should be able to, in certain circumstances, which are really obvious errors, they should be able to issue yellow cards.
Yeah,
Well,
I think.
And some
I don't understand why they draw
purely objective. You
I
know,
don't understand why they draw the line because, as we've seen quite a lot this season, one booking can actually turn the game
yeah, absolutely.
quite a bit.
It's something I think they should look at.
VAR is supposed to be for clear and obvious errors. That is a clear and obvious error.
Yeah, you can't argue.
We can't.
You can't argue.
We can't get involved because it's
objective
not
in
going to
any
be a
way.
red card. It's a load of bollocks.
Yeah.
You know,
If
a
it's
clear
like
and
that,
obvious
they
error
should be able
from
to
the
just
referee.
say, yeah, 100% error, just issue him a yellow card. Done. Boom. We move on.
Yeah.
Was there another one in that game? Did you
Yeah.
say it wrong?
Yeah,
Oh
so
my
there's.
goodness.
I mean, I may as well take the lead on it because it's
Yeah,
my player.
go for it.
So it's Lissandro Martinez against Palace, diving in on Daichi Kamada.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant there was another one in the Spurs game, but carry on.
Oh right,
Yeah.
no. And he, I don't even think he got booked for it because he actually ended up going.
He didn't hit the player, though, did he?
No, he went. No, he got
Yeah.
nowhere near the ball. But in my opinion, it's a red card because it's a reckless challenge. It doesn't matter that it was that reckless that he missed everything entirely. It was a reckless challenge, and quite frequently on this podcast, I've been saying that refereeing should not be about the outcome. It should be about the intention. It should be about the action itself. And this is such a clear example of it because if he had got it on target, Kamada's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Because of the angle, because of just the jump. It's just a stupid challenge. But because he
It's
gets
a
nowhere
weird
near the
one as
ball,
well.
because he gets nowhere near the ball, it's like
bizarre.
everyone's like, "Oh no, it's fine. You can do whatever you like." It's not a hard
He's just
tackle.
jumping.
It's not a hard tackle. It's not, a committed challenge. It's just him being an idiot. And I don't see why that. Fine. There'll be a lot of people who would look at a red card for a challenge where he gets nowhere near the ball and say the game's gone. But it's just a few
That's the
inches,
intention.
a few inches over, and it's a leg breaker, and that's the same thing for me, to be honest.
If you look at
whenever
it,
you are 2 foot off the ground,
Yeah,
and you're therefore not in control exactly of where you can land,
yeah.
you might
Yeah.
And
think
also-
I'm not going to land next to this player,
There
but
is-
then the player moves towards you. You just
Yeah.
don't know, and then
There
you're
is-
still out of control. So.
I don't
That's
even
what I
know
was
what
gonna
he's
say.
thinking because there's no clean way for him to win the ball like this. Anyway, I don't understand what he thinks he's doing when he lands because he's either going to land on the ball and fall on his ass or he's going to go through Kamada. It's
I think he was just trying to make a cool meme that people could do stuff to,
He
and
saw-
like, have him jump him off stuff.
He
this is
saw
what I was
Crystal
going to say. Like, was it Kamado that he was on?
yeah.
He went to put his foot around the ball to bring the ball away from Martinez, but seen his challenge and moved his foot,
Yeah.
stopped himself because he knew for a fact he was just going to get a broken leg.
Exactly.
So
So I
how's
think
that?
I think
don't
he's really
understand
lucky to not get
I
a red
agree.
card there. To be honest,
I thought that should have been a red. Yep.
and I can say
Well,
that
but
because it's
anything
my
else you
own
want to
team,
talk
so
about
I'm not
United,
biased.
Ryan?
I think the Liverpool game aside, I think we've been quietly sort of building a decent style of play this season. I think it's an absolute crock of shit that we missed last week when we scored 10 goals in the, since the previous podcast. But in possession, we're a lot better. We're keeping the ball a lot better than we were last season. We are limiting the chances that the other team get a lot more. We were conceding literally 25 shots a game last season, and we're nowhere near that now. We do need to, although we did score 10 goals in the last week, we do need to do we do need to finish better. We created a lot of chances against Palace, but the finishing was really poor. Particularly the one where Garnacho hit the post. It fell to Bruno, and Bruno's finish was just really lazy. He just sort of hit it back into the ground, even though he's in a mile of space. He really could have taken a shot, taken a touch, and picked his spot a lot better on that. Xerxes, I think, is really improving the front line. He's holding the ball up well. He's getting the wingers involved a lot more. He's getting in the right positions to get a shot off. It's just not going in for him at the minute. But it's going to be really interesting when Hoyland's back up and running, because you've got two very different strikers that you can use in very different situations. If you need to keep the ball, if you need to calm things down, you have Xerxes on, because he can put his foot on it. He can win a long ball and keep hold of it. Whereas if the game's a bit stretched and you've got lots of space in behind, then you've got Hoyland who's rapid and can run onto something. So that's promising. We'll see how Ugarte gets on when he starts games against quality opposition. But what I sort of said at the start of the month was that Ten Hag had until the October international break basically to save his job in my eyes after what happened against Liverpool. And the fixture list has been quite kind to him in that, because it's just slowly building up the challenge each time. So you had Southampton, who we had a slow start, and half an hour in I was calling for him to go because we'd got caught that cold just by Southampton running a bit. But the end of the game was really impressive. Barnsley, I know they're a League One side. I know they're really...
Barnsley owner.
Yeah. They're a League One side. They didn't play very well at all, but we were really sort of professional and committed, and we kept playing for the full 90 minutes and really sort of got on with it. Whereas previously we've not necessarily struggled in that sort of game, but we've tried to get through it doing the bare minimum. And then Palace was just another little test up, and we've not quite got through that. But our next games are we've got 20 tomorrow in the Europa League, FC 20. We've got Spurs at the weekend. We've got Porto away in the Europa League, which is a really tough game, and then we've got Villa the following week, and those are 4 really good tests to see where we are. So
yeah,
I'm hoping we're already sort of seeing a roadmap to being a good team, and hopefully by the end of those 4 games, it will have a clearer picture that's the case.
Are you at home in the Europa League, are we?
So we're at home.
20.
We're at home to 20.
Because they've played really well the last season or two. Them.
Yeah. Apparently they haven't started well this season, and they're the team that
get it around.
They're the team that Ten Hag supported as a kid as well, which has been fun. But we're at home. They're not a top Dutch side. We should be beating them. Porto is the one I think is the trickier test, especially away, because they gave Arsenal a really good game last season.
I mean, 100%.
So that's going to be the interesting one. And obviously Spurs and Villa are they can absolutely hurt us in the league as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've predicted you'll beat Spurs, and we'll go on to that.
I think we can beat Spurs, definitely.
I think you can do. Yeah, I have put you as a draw
just because I like Spurs less than you, which is actually quite remarkable.
Yeah, and I would just
you guys.
I'd just say, as a final thing, just to shout out for Mazraoui, who's played right back all season. There were a few eyebrows raised when we signed him, sort of amongst United fans, just because of his injury record at Bayern Munich, and again that Bayern were actively trying to get rid of him. But he's just been brilliant since he's come on. He came in cheaper than what we sold Wan-Bissaka for, and he offers so much more, not just in terms of going forward and overlapping, but just his game awareness. He keeps the ball well. He feeds into the midfield. He's been a massive improvement there, and it would be interesting when we've got our left backs fit, who's going to start at right back between him and Dalot.
I did say after his debut, I said I was impressed with him.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I think you've got a decent player there if he can stay fit.
Yeah,
if he can stay fit,
yeah. I mean, so far so good. You just never know. He's not an old player, so sometimes players have a couple of bad years at that age, and then it looks like they've got a bad injury record, then they're fine for a long time.
And it's also
anyway,
whether they're
Callum Wilson.
Yeah.
We'll move on to our predictions for next week, then, guys, and show what we've got. So, obviously, one of the biggest games next weekend is, as you would imagine, Man United versus Spurs.
Yep.
As I say, I went for
I
a
can't
Man
remember
United
what
win. What did
I
you
think
go
I went
for?
a draw.
A draw,
I've
Dave?
chickened out and gone for a draw.
I
Yeah,
have got
German.
I've got us beating them just because I'm feeling some optimism about United at the minute. So
You with
I'm gonna
optimism?
Fair enough.
Yeah, I know it's weird. Isn't it?
I mean, I've kind of done
They've
something
just
a
beat
bit
Bombs
silly,
Leona, man.
optimistic as
7-0.
well.
Oh yeah, thumped him. Yeah. How can you not be confident after that?
I mean, a couple of other interesting games. Obviously, we've got Newcastle versus City lunchtime kickoff.
Yeah.
Chelsea, Brighton.
Yeah, we got the boardroom derby, Chelsea, Brighton. Yeah.
Boardroom derby.
So that'll be good because I think Brighton are the sort of side that could cause Chelsea problems. It'd be interesting to see how they deal with that.
They've been doing all right this season, haven't they?
They've been really good this
unbeaten,
season. Yeah, they are.
There's only 4 teams
Um,
left that are unbeaten.
And what we also have as well on Monday night is the Sunderland Middlesbrough of the South Coast, and that's
Bournemouth, Southampton. Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah. I think Southampton will be playing well. We're just being lucky, but I think Bournemouth will do them.
Yeah.
But funny you should use them as the little reference because they've just played against each other. On
They have,
Saturday.
yeah. But it's that level of derby. It's not.
I don't check World League football. Who
Sunderland
won?
1-1
Yeah. It was a really good goal as well, actually,
Yeah.
from Sunderland's Newcastle supporting Wonder Kid.
Yeah, the lad from heaven just up the road from me, Chris Rigg.
Get him in. Let's get him in. Just let him develop there. And then.
Well,
He's actually had a.
Up the road.
There was talk.
There
There was talk. But
Well,
yeah.
there's still
We'll see
rumours
what
that we're
happens.
interested in so Man U.
Yeah.
At the
I've
moment,
seen this thing too.
Where's the best place for him to develop right now? Staying where he is. Right,
Yeah.
Staying where he
quite
is.
But I
honestly,
mean, there is.
He's not going to walk into a Premier League.
I think we are going to see more players making that jump from the Championship to big sides because it just saves a lot of money. It cuts out a lot of the middleman. But you look at Adam Wharton at Palace,
It's
who's
whether
maybe
they can
tailed
do
off
it.
a bit. He's maybe tailed off a bit this season. But Morgan Rogers at Villa was at Borough in January, and he's been phenomenal. I think.
Yeah.
So I think
He had a poor game last week. The one we didn't do. Rogers was awful, I think, actually, but this week he was
Rogers
good
was
again.
in the
But that's
team of the
going to
week
happen
last
with
week.
these players that are.
Yeah, he was.
No,
Yeah.
he wasn't last week.
He was.
Yeah. No,
Last week he was in the team of the week.
Yeah.
Or was it the week before that we did record? He had a terrible game
Okay.
then. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, he did have a really bad game against one of the weeks. But I think that's going to happen with a player moving up in for the Championship into the Premier League. Anyway, we could talk about that all, but that'd be another show in itself, just talking about the development opportunities for players these days and what's there. Let's go on to our final thing of the week, which is our shit house of the week, which we don't always have, but we've been lucky this season. And this week it goes to the Terminator himself, RoboCop, Erling Haaland, and it was just after Man City scored the equaliser. I think Kayla's got some kind of footage that he can show you this. We'll see. He goes in and he grabs the ball and just bounces it off the back. Was it Gabriel's head? Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
I think
it was,
wasn't it?
And then
Couldn't tell we had a shirt over red.
And then what happens as well is off the kickoff, he just runs straight into Thomas Partey, who's receiving the ball, knocks him over, and starts a brawl. And that basically gives Michael Oliver an excuse to call full time. Which, if he'd maybe been a bit sensible, maybe City could have forced a winner, but because there were probably a couple more minutes to play. But
what I love as well is, and when I was talking about the Arsenal fans earlier on, is how salty they have got about this and how they feel that Haaland should be punished for this and he should have been sent off and this should have happened to him and that should have happened, and you can't kick the ball away, but you can throw it at somebody's head.
Whoever is saying this,
shut up.
whoever is saying this clearly wasn't around 20 years ago when you had Keane and Vieira going at it and Bergie throwing Peter at Cesc Fabregas.
I don't know if you remember, Fabregas got a red card for kicking the ball into a crowd of players and it hit one of them in the heads, and he got a red card for that. So it is a red card offence, maybe. I don't know.
But if you're kicking the ball into a crowd of players, that's travelling with some speed.
He floated it in. It was about the same speed as Haaland.
Just because is that just because it's Fabregas and he can only ever play delicate?
Only Fabregas can place it like that.
He hasn't got a twat in him.
I don't know. I thought it was funny, and maybe he should get a telling off for it or something like that. But I don't think
I think it adds to the spectacle, to be honest.
It does, I enjoyed it.
Is it
It
dangerous?
was funny.
No, so who cares? You know, that's the way I see it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Then
well,
you had a
that's
Haaland
us for this
full
week,
time,
guys.
giving the mouth to Arteta.
Yeah,
and
Stay humble, and Arteta's like, what?
Empathy,
Arteta was a bit like, well, are you talking to me? I don't understand what you're trying to say to me.
Then Jesus tried to get in Haaland's face, and he was just like, "Fuck off, you fucking clown."
Yeah, it was calling him a clown. But you know, I don't know why he was getting so upset, but you know. Anyway, there we go. So remember, guys, you are watching us on the Genreverse Sports YouTube channel, and please also check out our main Genreverse channel and lrmonline.com as well for written news. Other than that, we will be back next week, barring any lifestyle incidents that happen to prevent us coming again. These things do happen from time to time. But if not, we'll be back next week, as always, talking about the games we just covered. Get any last thoughts, guys?
No.
Okay, well, bye. See you next week. And we'll say bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.